This is Red Raider Coach Show. I'm your host Shane Bennett, along with head coach Coach Cofer. We're going to try to break down 2 weeks here for you. We've took a week out last week due to some technical difficulties, but we're back this week. We're going to talk about Long County. We're going to talk about Bryan County and what we did preparing for Long, what we're going to do, and what we are preparing to do with that off week in between for Bryan County, and kind of where the region stands as it is today. Coach, right now we come into the region where we've won one, we've lost one, and we got a big. We talked about earlier in the coaches show that the every week now for us is a huge region game coming up. Preparing for Long County, I know y'all are a little bit concerned. We're going back 2 weeks now with that bye week in there. Y'all are a little bit concerned about the kids coming in that game just a little take it for granted kind of thing. And they came out first half, and it looked like there was nothing taken for granted. We talked about it on the radio. I mean, we go up 35-0 in a hurry, and they were like game bursters in the first half. And I'll kind of let you talk about the second half and how you talked to them about taking foot off the pedal and all that. But what do you think was the difference in the first half versus the second half?
Focus, probably. First half, shoot came out and went at it. We're always going to try to get the ball first. It's just kind of like having the ball more. We just feel like, deferring to the second half, you're taking a possession away from us. So kids automatically, we're going to say we want the football. Whether they defer for us or we win the toss, we want the football. So we took the football and go down. Everything was clicking. We kept them off balance a little bit, and I think 3 or 4 plays, I think it was 4 plays, we scored on. The first one was a misread off the card. We were trying to go fast, and Aubrey didn't see what we had called beside the sign. So, we went to it again, and it hit with big man on the catch right there. But just clicking in the first half, everybody was going fast on the same page. That's the way we practice. So what you saw, that Friday night against Long is the way these kids practice every day. So they get in trouble if they don't go fast, and they have to learn fast and have to communicate. So there's a one-word call that our kids will use on certain plays, on certain pass protections. And you have to relay that to the linemen and receivers and everything. So the quarterback and running back do all that for everybody. So it's a team effort, offensively and defensively, doing that too. And just clicked. And once you score, it makes the other team feel like they have to score in a hurry. Mm-hmm. And once we started going, it just kind of clicked with us. And I think it was 22 points that hit 2 two-point conversions right there in a row, and just thought we had mismatches. And I thought they lined up to it great. But I thought our kids just, when we ran the route and stuff, big man kind of handled it and went on about business. But then scored 2 more in the first half to go up 34-0.
Well, then step back a little bit. We got to think about Long County coming off a big win against Jeff Davis the week before. They were coming in high, and you see those guys warming up. They were huge.
Yeah, and that was the thing.
Over there.
Yeah, I knew they were good-looking kids. I don't remember seeing all those kids last year.
I don't either.
There's a big military families that's coming in and out over there, but shoot, they must have all moved in or got on the weights. And I think their weight program is getting better. I think their program is on the rise. It's definitely taken off with their young coaching staff right there and doing a good job, I think. So, kudos to them. I thought they are doing it and getting their players to believe a little bit. And it was totally different than it was last. Not that last year Long County wasn't good. I just thought this one was more athletic, got after it, and knew the game a little bit better. And they're doing a good job over there.
Well, and then kudos to them. The second half, they came out and they looked more like us in the first half, and we looked more like them in the second half. We just, and I know you talked to them about it at halftime. I listened to you there. You talked to them on the field before they went on for the kickoff about not taking your foot off the pedal. And it just seemed like that's exactly what they did. Yeah, I mean, we do. We go into halftime. It's 34-0, and people will start to say, "Well, the game's in hand." Well, not to me. And not to our coaches. It's not. I've had a Hail Mary thrown on me back in 2011 that still stings a lot with 11 seconds left to go that beat us. And we didn't take our foot off the pedal. It was just a blown coverage back then. But I don't want that to happen again. And I don't want, I think some people, it's usually the teams that we're playing think that we're kind of trying to run it up. And let me kind of go into this a little bit.
is our thinking. And Shane had it down pat right there talking about that, what happened in the second half. Long County, comes out on fire and scores a touchdown pretty quick and gets a 2-point conversion, 34-8. We do drive it back down and we score 40-8. They drive it right back down 40-16, get another 2-point conversion. We start to drive. They pick up a fumble of ours and take it 71 yards for a touchdown and get a 2-point conversion. So this is where the problems begin, and this is what I want everybody to understand. I wish the Long County folks, not that they're going to love me after this anyway, but I'm just going to kind of tell you my thinking on this. Okay, it's 40-24. There's 5 minutes, I believe, on the clock. And it becomes a running clock in the fourth quarter. That means that the clock, unless there's a timeout called, is going to continually run, or after a score, it's going to continually run, okay? Long County has 3 timeouts, okay? And this is, and I didn't know that until the game was over, to tell you the truth. But they have 3 timeouts. They onside kick, and we get it. We run one play, and look like chaos. It looks like we don't know what we're doing. From the first half to the second half, we just kind of lost it. And we've been moving the ball, but penalties have taken us out of position and stuff. So, I called timeout. I didn't think that we were playing it. My main focus is our team and what we're looking like, and what kind of attitude we have leaving the field. And if we'd have left the field then, it would have been a downer, because we scored 6 points right there and we let a team win in the second half and beat us. So to me, that's kind of getting me down. I didn't think we looked good right there towards the end. We'd already given up, just fumbled on, and they scored on a turnover right there. So I called timeout. My exact words were, "You're going to take this ball down and you're going to score. We're going to look good right here and you're going to get after it." I mean, those are my exact words right there on getting it. I wasn't thinking about Long County. I wasn't thinking about running up the score. I wasn't thinking about trying to make kids or coaches look bad. That would be my last thing. I've had it done to me before. I'll be danged if I'm going to do that to anybody else. I do know what it looked like. And all our fans most of our fans have been very supportive and coming up to me after games and even during the off week and saying, "Coach, if they can't take it, they need to get off the field." Well, that's not my attitude about that. My attitude is we're supposed to win football games and we're supposed to get our kids right. I'm not worried about the other team. The other team's coaches coach that team. But did I call the pass there at the end with under 20 seconds to go? I sure did. If I had it to do again, would I have done it? I sure would. My obligation to Bacon County High School and these kids is to win a football game, leave on a good note, and we're going to play all 4 quarters, period. I don't know why it's my favorite Bible verse, but it is. It's Ecclesiastes chapter 9, verse 10. It always has been. It says, "Whatever your hands find to do, do it with all your might." So if you're going to do something, do it 100%, whether you're in the classroom, whether you're at your job, whether you're in a football game. And what I can't stand is, and I need to learn how to take it a lot better. So I need to get better in that aspect. But if somebody's saying something to me about playing, or my kids playing 4 quarters, and I've taken a knee before when it's been 42-14 against Fitzgerald High School in 2010. We're on the 1, and with 2 minutes to go, we can stick it in for another touchdown. We took 4 straight knees and ended up almost back at the 50 and wasted 2 minutes. We didn't have to do that. This one right here, I thought our kids needed to score and needed to end on a good note. You need to play defense. If it's happening to me, I'm going to play defense. I'm not going to go after a coach or anything like that because they're trying to score. It's our job to play. So if they can score 70, then more power to them. Do I want them to? No. But it's our job to stop them right there. So I did call the pass. I did think it was good for us. After I threw it, I asked Coach, two of our coaches, I said, "Was that a good idea?" Well, I said, "That was okay, wasn't it?" And both of them said yes. And, one of them said, "I've been taught after an onside kick, they're still trying to win. So we need to go down there and take it to score." But here's my thing, is Long County had 3 timeouts. but you just onside kicked and got 2 3-point conversions to make it 24, and you didn't call a single timeout to try to win the game, and you're down by 16. Who's not playing hard? That's my question. Our kids are going to play hard. I can't control what the other team does. So in that aspect right there, I don't feel bad about anything that happened, just to be honest with you. And I want to make that clear. I'm not here to embarrass anybody or anything like that, but I am worried about our kids. I'm worried about our attitudes going to it next week, because that's what we're supposed to do. But for another team not to call timeouts and try to win a ball game is beyond me. I don't understand it. So, I can take grief and all that kind of stuff right there also, but I just felt like that was kind of wrong to be something said to me right there. And if I can I keep going?
Well, I was saying that the questions I've had, what happened at the field, on the field after the game and all that, so go ahead and clarify that.
Well, as much as I'm sitting here defending myself, and I can go into the Lanier County game also at the beginning of the year, and a coach that I know at Lanier pretty well, I've known him for probably about 10 years, or over 10 years, makes a comment after that game, or during halftime, about, won't you score some more? Well, we scored 55 in the first half. We weren't going to score anymore, and I have my daughter over there that's cheering on the other sideline, and I just didn't think that they were putting their kids in position enough to try to win or try to do better. I thought they just quit. I can't stand anybody that's just quitting. And here's another circumstance with the Long County game. So all this is starting to build up, guys, and it eats me alive. And what happened after the Long County is a younger assistant coach made a comment. I won't use exact words. Clapped his hands at me. You can see it on the TV. And clapped his hands at me and said real classy, and then proceeded to say another couple of words. So I made a beeline behind him. That was mistake number one. What I should have done was be an adult enough to just shut up and not say a word. That's what I should do. Not only do kids have to work on things, but we have to work on things. Now, if I'm going to preach something to our kids about turning the other cheek, if something happens in a game and you're not throwing a punch back, then you don't need to do it. No punchers were thrown or anything like that at the game. We tell our kids that during a football game. We're not going to fight back. You step back. Well, if I'm going to preach that, I need to do it myself. So, being 46 years old, I need to follow my own advice if I'm going to do something. But this is the third time that it's happened. And there's been 3 incidents where I've kind of run my mouth. And I've had plenty of support from Alma, Georgia, concerning the 3. But, when you go home for a weekend and you think about what you preach and what you tell kids and all that, and you don't follow it, it makes you feel pretty bad about yourself. So, Lanier, I lost my temper at Lanier. Words were exchanged, and people have to step in between. Charlton County happens. I get hit with a sign we've already talked about, and, doesn't matter what happened right there or if I was in the right or the wrong, but it escalated. That's incident number 2. And then we get to, this one right here, Long County, and another incident happens. Well, there's one common factor in 3 incidents, and that's me. So 3 incidents in 5 weeks of playing football with a bunch of kids on the field is not what I want to portray as being a winner or being okay to do. Yes, you stand up for yourself. Yes, I want to tell every kid they're going to stand up for themselves, but that's not what that was about. That was an exchange of words. It gets ugly, and it's got to be where I've been told that it looks kind of scary what kind of face I have on. And I don't want to look like that way with our kids. I don't want to look like that way in front of my little girl that's at a ball game. It's not a good example. It's not a Christian example of what I preach either. So I want to make it clear to everybody that it won't happen again. And it's probably going to get kind of boring on the Bacon County sideline, because the only time that you're ever going to hear my voice raised is when I'm trying to get the quarterback's attention or a kid on the field. It'll get pretty boring, but I'm not embarrassed to say that Georgia High School sent me a letter, sent Coach Thompson, our AD, a letter also, basically saying, Coach, you need to stop. You need to hush. And that's not what we want to do as far as sportsmanship. And before every game in Georgia High School schools, we have a sportsmanship paragraph read before every game. Well, here's one that's not listening to that sportsmanship thing. So you won't hear me again. I'm gonna stand up for our kids and stuff like that, and our coaches and our community. But it's gonna be very quiet on the sideline. I need to be a better example for Alma, Georgia, and Bacon County High School and our football players. So I do sincerely apologize for everybody that's at the game and has to see stuff like that. But I won't apologize for our kids playing 4 quarters and getting after somebody's behind. I just want to make that clear. I want to come clean with everybody. I'm proud to be your football coach. I love it in Alma, Georgia, and I want to stay here. So I don't want to ruin that in any way. So thank you for listening to that. Let me bleed my heart out about all that. But we will continue to play all 4 quarters. It's going to be a 4-quarter game. We're ready to play 5. So we're not here to embarrass anybody or anything like that, but we need to just clarify that.
Well, Coach, I appreciate you being honest and your honesty toward me. So that's I guess the biggest negative what you're talking about, the example for the boys, and I
Right.
think what you're doing here is another example. Just if you do wrong or if something happens, you still got to stand up and admit to it. And I appreciate that, Coach.
Right.
We'll take a quick break and we'll get back into the next part of the season as far as Bryan County and those games. But first, we want to pay some bills here and thank our sponsors: Titan Modular, Access ATC, FMB South, Bennett and Johnson, Clean Air and Electric, Julie's Gifts and Boutique, Richmond Bacon. And this week our breakfast, or not this week, but our breakfast for Long County was J&B Packing and Taylor Farms. And lunch during that week with Coach was Douglas Chapel. I know I'll let you say more about Douglas Chapel.
All the churches around Alma do a great job. It's no different with Douglas Chapel. We appreciate y'all sponsoring that meal for us against Long and just being there for us and the fellowship that we had over there at Douglas Chapel. We appreciate it very much.
And I just add, this day and time and the way things are with politics and everything, but one thing that the community can't say is these boys are exposed to the Christian atmosphere, breakfast, lunch, during the game. Everything's going on is they're having a chance to be exposed to that, so we do appreciate that. We'll take a quick break and we'll be right back. You talk about middle school too, because they're all right, Coach. We're going to talk about Bryan County again. Going in this game, it was a big shakeup in the region as far as who beat who this past week.
Right.
I mean, Jeff Davis goes, or not this past week, off week, but Jeff Davis goes and beats McIntosh. Vidalia beats Groves. I mean, it's just so it's all kind of a juggernaut right now. So we control our own destiny as far as that 2 spot.
Right.
There's no way. Well, I don't think crazier things happen, but Benedictine losing. But
Right.
Bryan County, I know you got to come in this game kind of like Long County. Don't take it for granted. We got to win this game. We said earlier before we come online that boys looked okay this week so far on Monday. But
Right.
how do you handle this week as far as their mentality is preaching to them. And we talked Saturday kidding about what happened to Georgia as far as kind of overlooking that. I don't think they overlooked it, but just not really prepared for what they came and handled with. So
yeah, and you know, last week is what I was worried about most. Our off week. You know, we gave them Monday off and Friday off, and then went Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and padded up Thursday. That was probably a mistake on my part. Probably should have just kept things the way that they were. We didn't have the best practice on a Thursday. It just changes our schedule a little bit. Anytime you throw a kink in the schedule, it'll mess it up. This morning, freezing this morning, and had some rain, but it wasn't that big rain. It was just a little heavier, misty rain. But we needed to practice in that. You know, we made some mistakes this morning because of the wet, but we practice with a wet ball. We practice up under the lights. We practice in these kind of conditions in wet grass. So it's good for us. Okay, so when we get a dry field, it's awesome. And that's probably why we performed so well at Long County in the first half. But, you know, today went great. Today went great against it. Bryan County, you know, at the beginning of the year, you know, we're no different than kids. We hear about teams here and there. And Bryan was one of those that we had heard that had gone downhill. Somebody had seen them a little bit on TV and said they don't look nearly as athletic or as good as they have. So I'm thinking in the back of my mind, well, that's good for us, you know. And then all of a sudden they're playing all these teams, and we get film on them against Benedictine the other week when we played Long. And I think it was a 7-0 ball game, Benedictine at halftime. And I'm thinking Benedictine didn't come ready to play. And Benedictine did try some new stuff against Bryan. They tried to spread it out, run some of their routes. They're breaking in a new quarterback from the All-State kid that they had last year, and trying to throw it around a little bit. But the thing that stuck with me is watching Bryan County get better. If you watch their films in unison right there, you see them get better and better every week. That's what you want to become, and that's what you want to do. They've got a new coach and new coaching staff. I think there's only one left on the coaching staff they had last year from hearsay. But definitely gotten better. Their defense was not scared of Benedictine one bit. Got after them, ran to the football, got a lot of speed on defense, and they run. You can tell that some of them are a little bit younger, but that's the same boat that we're in too. But that's scary for an offensive coach to see that when they run into the ball. We think that we can find holes in any defense. I mean, even against Benedictine, we thought we could find some. But what amazes me about Bryan is how far they've come in the 3 to 4 weeks of the film that we have, and defensive linemen getting after it. They got one defensive end, number 45, that just flat gets after it and chase it down on the backside. Speed kids, number 6 and number 1 at the corners. Number 22 and number 80. We study everybody on this, and our kids know by numbers who's the strong point in that. Number 3 is the free safety, and you can tell he's a returner from last year, and he'll run the alleys pretty well. Linebackers, they all look the same right there, just speed. They're not afraid to get it up in there. But their defensive line, as far as causing problems against Benedictine, was getting up in there and taking out some of those buck sweep guards and just knocking them down to the ground. And then their kids running to the football, and Benedictine couldn't do anything. Now, they put 28 up in the second half, but you know that's probably because Bryan couldn't run the ball as much or as good against Benedictine's defense. But it doesn't matter. I mean, that's a defense that worries me. That's the way the 3-5s is supposed to look. And they definitely do some good things. They do show their stunts. If I was picking up a weak point that we've studied since we got here and doing all that, is our quarterbacks know where the stunts are coming from, and running back, so they know what to pick up. Now, whether we do it or not is one thing, but we know about the game. We know how to pick them up. We know what we're supposed to call and where we're supposed to go. And that's what I like about all of our kids are doing that. And even the young ones, we got sophomore, freshmen are still learning, but our sophomores know the offense and stuff like that. But defensively too, it's a wing T, their offense is wing T, jet sweep, buck sweep, counter, belly G, and trap. Trap might be one of their best plays. And got a little fullback that can just hide from people. Looks almost like Xavier Bell, that we got a little freshman that we love. That's one of our running backs, but he looks just like that, but he can scat. Quarterback is not the same one they had. He looks like a younger kid too, but he knows how to do it. They'll pass it maybe 3 or 4 times a ball game, but that's the thing, is you're sitting there making people on defense fall asleep, and then bam, you bust one on the pass coverage right there. So definitely have the speed. to do some things. We need to get better against the wing tee. We've had a good day had a good 2 days last week, and then 1 day this week so far, and kids have gotten after it. It seems like we're becoming more at home right there. And then, I look over there today, and there's big number 7 out wide on defense. He's not playing inside, so that ought to be a hoot if you get to see that, playing one of the dogs on the outside is big Jacob Carter. He looked good today. I know that'll be a question that we get to ask too. Is Jacob will? It's day by day. He didn't look good last week, to be honest with you. Now he's working out a little bit. He's running, but today was his best day. Running, planting, got back in the offense a lot, and then was playing a lot on defense. Sean Morgan is one of our sophomores that plays a dog. Sean has to have his wisdom teeth cut out this Wednesday. So he's out for 2 weeks. So we won't have him for this Friday or next Friday. Hopefully we'll have him back. He was going to try to wait till after football season, but they said absolutely not. It's got to be done right now. It's causing him some pain. So, we've got to fill that spot right there. And number 7 can do that. Kevontae Merritt can do that. Demetrius Williams. And then Trey Stewart can fill in that spot too. So we'll play it by rotation right there. As much as Jacob will play, I couldn't tell you. I don't know how much. Like I say, it's day by day. He may run a couple plays here. We may get him out. Probably just break him in just a little bit. I don't want to hold him out. I don't want to. But, I'm thinking about it more and more. But I'd rather have him towards the end of the season. But he looks good today. He did. He looked real good today. The best he's run since before Charlton game. So,
well, the special teams for Bryan County, what do they look like as far as from the kicking standpoint?
Kickoffs, and people say, well, he doesn't kick the ball off good. That's what scares me. Is on kickoffs. I don't know where the ball's going, and we plan it that way with our kicking game on kickoffs. Sometimes with a punt and a quick kick. But Bryan County, they'll kick it off, and sometimes it'll look beautiful. And then sometimes it'll come off the edge of his foot, and it may bounce a couple of times, and you have to handle that. We've talked about that. Sometimes we'll do that squib kick, and it's hard to pick up. And, they do that. They don't mean to sometimes, but it ends up working to their advantage. So we've got to watch that. Punting game's pretty good. It's probably averaging about 28 to 30 yards a kick. We should be better than that. But our quick kicks are going to be a lot better than that with Aubrey because nobody's back deep and we're getting a bounce. So, the kicking game's going to be fine for them. They've got plenty of speed to run back kicks on you. Working on the punt again, our punt coverage. Definitely work on the quick kicks. We don't make any surprise about that. Yeah, we'll go for it on most fourth downs that we see. It depends on how we're feeling that time. We won't even delay. We're not going to probably call a timeout before fourth down or anything like that. But we just like to keep people off balance. We treat fourth down like it's another down. So, we don't want to get into too many special teams. We want to keep it rolling with our offense right there. So if we can keep from having to get the punt team out there, that helps us a lot and causes more disruption for them.
One thing I saw against Long County, we had a problem stopping their 2-point conversion as they did ours. Have y'all worked on that?
We work on it. We work on it every week. We go against ours. We go up. We'll make up some funky formations. What I didn't like about that is I'm watching a couple of cats that we have out there. Great kids, great effort in the first half and most of the game. But a couple of those 2-point conversions, it looked like we didn't know what we were doing. And I think, and Shane mentioned it a while ago, taking your foot off the pedal or relaxing and taking that, that relaxing breath. We don't want to relax. We want to stay after folks and play 4 quarters. We talked about it last year. We played one four quarter ball game. That was Brooks in the last game of the season. And that's a good time to do it. But we want to do it, and I think we've done it in most of our games. The 2 losses, I thought we were kind of in and out right there, and I got quoted bad at halftime saying those things, but and not quoted, I said it, but definitely just want to just keep the pressure on these folks for 4 quarters the whole time. And Brian, I think that we can wear them out a little bit and stay after them and doing that. But again, you have to get first downs. We can't get in a rhythm. And with offense or anything like that, it helps our defense, to tell you the truth. It makes the way we do offensively helps our defense to play with more confidence. So if we can get a lead like that and do that, our defense plays more focused right there. It's not a have to, it's a want to, and it's easier for them. So we got to just stay after them just like that.
All right, Coach, before we get out of here, I want to take the time to let you talk about, first of all, our coaches, give them a shout out as far as our varsity coaches. We don't get to talk about them much. And then, two, our middle school program that's doing so good right now.
Right, yeah, definitely want to, I hadn't talked about them a whole lot. I'll mention one or two of them's name every once in a while. But Coach Scott Brown used to be the head coach here. He has been a huge plus for us being here. His film study, just what he does for the program, and every morning, he usually beats me here every morning getting here, and that's mighty early. But Scott does a great job for us. Matt Wilson teaches over there at the primary school. Matt does a great job. He's going to be a great head coach one day. Kyle Langford, our defense coordinator, the brains behind the operation, told everybody that when we got here. Does a great job, helps us out with everything. Ryan Countard, the brawn behind it, the big bald guys, I like to say sometimes, but Countard does a great job with our offensive line, and we've got so much better on the offensive line. It's not even funny. Middle school, can't say enough about our middle school coaches and our middle school kids. Have won 3 straight, Pierce County, Appleton County, and Ware County, and scoring some points, and it's fun to watch. I get excited about coming and watching the middle school game as I do our JV and our varsity game. I'm a little bit nervous because I don't have to call plays on Friday night, but watching these middle school guys play and the coaches over there getting out, and it looks like the coaches are having more fun over there because there's more of them, and everybody's getting coached just like on a Friday night, and they get excited. And it's funny watching them get excited about certain things that we do on Friday nights as well. But Steve Owens heads up that program, does a great job, calls offense over there. Derek James, Thomas McCullough, George Roberts, Reuben Duncan, Dalton Allman, who was a player for us last year, and then we got an administrator down there at the primary school, Gladwin Harper, that came on board too, and it's so fun to have Mr. Harper down there and then have a former player at Bacon County, Dalton Allman, down there too. But Reuben Duncan and George Roberts do a great job. They're community coaches along with Dalton. They do a great job. Steve and Thomas were varsity coaches last year and went down to the middle school. They get to make the calls on offense and defense right there. And it's fun to watch them coach and do that and take what they've taken from the varsity level down there and coach those kids. And then Derek James is just a big, disciplinarian. And love having Derek James, our head baseball coach, involved with football. He loves it. He's having a great time.
Well, a lot of people may or may not know, I talked to Coach Owens about it Friday night, is that they're running the exact same thing we're running. So those kids come to y'all, they're already...
Yeah, it's fun to watch them. They're running the horsemen, they're running our screens, formations, and Coach Owens knows all that. And, the other coaches have gotten into it, and it's fun to watch those guys coach like we do on Fridays. We're all in this together, just like the red coaches are with us also. There's nobody higher than the other, the way I look at it. We're all in it together to coach these kids and make us a total program in Bacon County, and all be together and on the same page. And that's what I love about our red coaches too, and our middle school. And I think we like doing what we're doing and like working to just work it out on Friday nights.
Be all on the same page. That's a big deal. Coach, we're going to cut it off. Again, this Friday night, the next biggest game in our schedule is Bryan County. The biggest game we've had in a long time, and we'll be saying that each week. We want to see a big crowd out there Friday night because, again, these guys feed off of it. Great job in Long County. Folks showed up. And I don't know, we probably had as many as Long County did Friday night. Just a big crowd right there.
And students too. That was a big thing. Just also wanted to mention that we've got, we go to Bryan County this Friday, play at 7:30, but we have a middle school game here in our stadium at 5 o'clock on Wednesday. They're playing Brantley County, and then we have a JV game this Thursday versus Charlton at 5 o'clock. So there's going to be 2 games, Wednesday and Thursday right there. So if you can come support us, please do that. Did want to give a shout out to our girls softball team that made it and beat St. Vincent's last week, and they got Bryan County tomorrow, 2 games.
Yeah, 12-2, I think.
Right.
So they're guaranteed a 4 spot in region right now, and they're playing for better seating right now. If they keep winning, they'll just keep improving.
Doing a good job. Yeah.
So, All right, guys, we'll just say, we look forward to seeing you Friday night. Red Raider machine will keep moving, hopefully, and we'll be here Monday talking about another Red Raider win. Go Raiders.